Hello, my name is Katy Ray-Chiarolla, and I have been an executive assistant to a vice president for the last 7 years, and I love what I do. I'm also a mother of five, a wife, a daughter, a sister, a friend, and I'm a recovering people pleaser. First, let me say how truly honored I am to be here speaking to administrative professionals, people who are often the heart, soul, and steady hands behind every well-run office. Many of us didn't just learn to do the job, we became the people that everyone leans on, trusts, and sometimes takes for granted. Why? Because we're the dependable ones, the ones who say, yes, we figure it out, we make it happen. Well, those are powerful qualities. Sometimes that deep desire to support and serve turns into something else, people pleasing. Don't get me wrong, being helpful and kind and generous is not the problem. The problem comes when we shrink our own voice and put others' needs above our own all the time. That is when we start to second guess our value. That is exhausting, and it holds us back from growing into the strong leaders we're meant to be. Today, I want to challenge you to shift from being a people pleaser to becoming a confident leader. It's not about changing who you are, it's about owning who you are and leading with clarity, boundaries, and self-respect. So let's talk about 4 ways you can start making that shift starting today. Number 1, know your worth and speak it. Too often we minimize our own value because we shrink because we think it's just part of the job. But the truth is, you bring insight, experience, and solutions to the table every single day. Start noticing what you contribute. Confident leaders know their impact and aren't afraid to advocate for themselves and share ideas. Number 2, set boundaries without guilt. Saying no doesn't make you difficult, it makes you clear. Boundaries are not walls, they are bridges that help others understand how to work with you respectfully. Whether it's about your time, workload, communication preference, whatever it may be, setting healthy limits is a powerful act of leadership. Number 3, make decisions without apologizing. People pleasers often over-explain or ask for too much permission. As a leader, practice making decisions within your role and stand by them. You don't need to apologize for doing your job well or making decisions that you have been empowered to make. Be confident. Advocate for yourself like you advocate for others. You're probably incredible at speaking up for your team, your boss, your office, but what about you? Confident leaders bring that same energy to their own growth. Ask for the training, nominate yourself for the committee, go after the promotion. You deserve the same support you give to everyone else. So here's the bottom line. You don't need to change your kindness, your work ethic, or your commitment to others. But if you pair those qualities with confidence, clear boundaries, and a strong sense of self, you don't just support the room, you lead it. Let's step into that leadership together. I want you to get something out that you can take some notes with. Pen and paper, computer, phone, whatever works best for you. We're going to do a little activity. I want you to write down one situation where you said yes when you really wanted to say no. In just a few words, write down how that decision made you feel after saying yes. Now let's reframe that situation by answering these questions. What would a confident leader have done in that same situation? What is one boundary you can set next time? And what's one strength you showed even in that tough moment? Thank you for taking the time to reflect honestly. This exercise isn't about being perfect. We need to be aware. We get to take these moments as opportunities for growth and learning. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. Now, let's talk about something powerful that we often overlook, our words. The way we speak gives others cues about how to treat us, how to engage with us, and whether or not we see ourselves as leaders. A few years ago, I felt like I was struggling to find my voice and take up space. I started saying the same phrases over and over. When I started paying attention to my own language, I noticed a pattern, and maybe some of you will recognize it in yourselves too. I was constantly apologizing, softening my opinion, and volunteering before I even had a chance to think. So let me walk you through some common phrases people pleasers use and how we can reframe them and lead with more clarity and confidence. A people pleaser might say, I'm sorry, I just thought, Sound familiar? This is when we start a sentence with an apology for having an idea or an opinion. Later reframe, I'd like to share an idea that might help us move forward. Now you're owning your contribution. No apology, just value. I can do it, no problem at all. We say it even when our plates are overflowing. As a leader reframe, let me check my current workload and make sure I can give this the attention it deserves. It shows you're thoughtful, not overloaded, and you respect the work enough to do it well. Whatever works best for you. This one's tricky because we think we're being flexible, but it can make us invisible. Say something instead like, here's what works best on my end. How does that align with your schedule? Now it's a two-way conversation, not just deferring, but collaborating. I don't mind really. Ever said that when you actually did mind? Instead, I'm happy to help this time, but I'd like to set up a different plan for this moving forward. You're setting a boundary and offering support. Both can be true. Hope this isn't a bother. This one is a red flag that we're seeking permission to be heard. I'd like to talk through something important. It won't take long. Respectful, clear, confident. That's how leaders communicate. I'll figure it out somehow, which is code for I'm drowning, but I won't ask for help. I'll look into possible solutions and loop in the team when it's needed. Leaders don't go at it alone. They delegate, they collaborate, and they trust others. These small changes in language create big shifts in how we show up. Because when you speak like a leader, you start to believe you are one, and others start to believe it too. So here's a challenge for you. Pick just one of these reframes and try it out this week. Write it down, practice it, say it out loud. Reframing these from people pleaser to leader statements will help you stand a little taller and lead a little better. You'll set and protect your boundaries, improve communication and influence, and it will help empower others to do the same for themselves. I'd like to share a quick story with you. About 6 years ago, I found myself working late, again, on a task that wasn't actually mine. I had taken it on because I didn't want to let anybody down. I had not been fully present for my kids during our evening routine, and there wasn't a spare minute for myself. When I finally stopped working late that evening, I thought, what am I doing? Not because I didn't care about the work, because I do, but because I realized I was letting myself down. That night, I made a promise to start honoring my time the way I honor everyone else's. And let me tell you, it was not easy at first. But the more I practiced setting boundaries and communicating clearly, the more I gained respect, not just from others, but from myself. That's what leadership is, aligning your values and your actions. I'd like you to take a moment and write this phrase down. I lead with clarity, confidence, and compassion. So I have that written on a piece of paper here, and I keep this close to me. And I would encourage you to keep that somewhere visible at your desk, on a sticky note, in your planner, because when the old people-pleasing habits start to creep back in, and they will, I want you to look at that and remember, you don't have to choose between being kind and being strong. You can be both. As we move forward today, I want to encourage each of you to take up space, not just at your desk, but in your meetings, in your decisions, in your career. You've already proven that you're dependable. You've already shown that you can get the job done. Now it's time to walk in and with the kind of confidence that inspires others to follow your lead. You don't have to wait for permission to lead. You already have what it takes. Speak up, stand tall, and remember, leadership doesn't always come with a title. Sometimes it starts with simply believing that you belong at the table. Thank you so much for being here, for the work that you do, and for the desire to learn and grow.